Hello, hello, hello. It is me, Stephen Gervais, with Stephen Gervais and Friends. You may notice a few things are different. We'll get into that some other time. But today, I got the Nightwatch Zone on the show. I predicted we were going to get a big time guest, and I delivered. Thank you so very much for coming on the show. How
No
have you been?
problem. I've been doing pretty good, man, and it's no problem at all to come on because I love talking to folks, and we kind of just happen upon each other, through Streamyard in their little community. So this is actually fun. You're the first person I really connected with through Streamyard, so this is pretty cool.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I didn't even know collab was a thing until it's like find guests, click, and then all of a
Right?
sudden brings me to collab.
Yeah.
So where did your channel start?
Oh man, that's a story. Um, well, I love movies and talking about movies. So on my channel, we do, a bunch of movie discussions, reviews, debates, and so forth. And we do all types of movies, but I have a focus on horror because that's one of my favorite genres. And when the pandemic had started, whatever it was, 3 years ago or whatever, I had a lot of time on my hands because
Yeah.
we were in lockdown and stuff like that. So I was talking to my brother and I said, man, we should start a channel up because me and him had been talking about this for a while before it actually happened because we grew up loving movies and our parents groomed us on movies and stuff. So, but at the time, his schedule was a little tight. So he said, "Well, man, if you start a channel," he says, "I'll jump on whenever you need me to." So I was kind of nervous to be honest with you. But I started a channel and I was lucky enough to meet some great people in the community. And then, I had him joining on with me as a co-host. And then of course, um, my girlfriend, Coriander, she joins me as well. So, we kind of just started doing this thing, man. And here we are 3 years later and still having fun. So that's pretty much the short end of it.
Damn, that's nice. I mean, to find people in the horror community, oh my god, people had to speak in hushed tones, you know.
That's
I
right.
remember being a little kid in the 90s, 1999. I was 6 years old and got to watch my first ever AMC Fright Fest, and
Mm,
Halloween was on.
there
So
you go.
imagine a 6-year-old me, uh, which was funny because H2O was on. So then I ran into the bedroom scared. What does my brother do? He grabs me, puts me down, sits on me, and I watched the movie, and I had nightmares for months. But
Oh.
it gave me a love for horror. For some weird reason, I
Yeah.
loved it.
Yeah, yeah. No, I know what you mean, man. Like when we were kids, if we were spending time over my grandmother's house, I have, a bunch of cousins, and so we would hang out together. And of course, we'd be watching marathons of horror movies on Saturdays and stuff like that. And yeah, man, it's like horror is just one of those genres that's really, really interesting because it's it's got a really passionate community, you know what I'm saying? Like, if you meet someone else that is a horror fan, chances are you're gonna find something that you guys have a connection with or an agreement of some sort, you know? It's really, really cool.
Hey, Mark, first of all, welcome to the stream, but go fuck
Hey.
yourself, buddy. I know him. We used to play Friday the 13th on Xbox a lot, so
Nice.
we can't wait for the new Texas Chainsaw video game.
Yeah, man, I can't either. I cannot wait to see how good of it. I hope it's good, or better than Friday 13th, because Friday
Oh,
13th is a fun game.
definitely is. I don't know if you watched any live streams that people were doing when they did the test. Oh my
No,
gosh, man.
I've
Um,
heard.
Slash and Cast did like every day for like 11 hours each day they did streams. And then Bryce McQuaid, which they're great people.
Mhm.
Anyone out there in podcaster land, I guess we're calling this, or YouTube land, go check them out. You won't you won't be disappointed. They really do a good job.
Nice.
kind of like the talking shit show, but hey,
Yeah, yeah,
shameless plug there for you, Mark.
yeah.
Um, but why come up with the name the Nightwatch Zone?
Well, it's it's kind of multi-layered. Obviously, my name being Knight,
Mhm.
and I work at night, and I've been working overnights for like, I don't even know, man, like 11, 12 years. And
Ooh.
so, a lot of times at night, if I was watching movies or whatever, is at night. So it was just one of those things, man, where it just kind of came together like that because I was trying to think of something that was a little bit different and also kind of to make people be like, what the hell is that type of thing, make a little bit of
Yeah.
curiosity. So it really was that. It wasn't anything too special. Um, yeah, that's pretty much the whole story.
I
I
mean,
wish
hey,
I wish it was cooler than that, but it's pretty
oh,
simple.
that's really awesome. I mean, hell, there's people out there with YouTube channels that they're like, oh yeah, I was just happened upon it, and
Yeah.
you use your first name, and there ain't a lot of people that are willing to do that because they get scared.
Yeah, yeah. It's
And
true.
I mean, I never thought people would want to listen to a podcast named Steven Jarvis and Friends, but hey, they
Yeah,
must not
man.
have anything better to do to watch and then to watch one of my streams.
Well, I'll tell you what, man, there's a lot of people out there
Mhm.
that love watching others talk, and
Yeah.
of course, depending on their interests. But
Yeah.
there's so many people out there that love to just hear people chatting about, a subject that they might find interesting. And a lot of people watch YouTube more than they, watch TV.
Oh, definitely, definitely.
I never really knew that until I became a YouTuber. So it's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's a big community, and
Hmm.
there's a lot of people that think they're gonna make it, and then, that first time when they get nothing, no views, anything, they quit.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
I got asked by someone, "Well, did you ever get famous from it?" And I'm like, "Not yet." But I
Hmm.
said, "I still love doing it. I've been
Right.
doing it for 4 years." And they're like, "But you're not being paid." I'm like, "Because I love it."
Hmm. Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Just
Yeah.
like you
You
ask
gotta love it.
someone that loves their job, "Why do you
Mhm.
do it?" "Well, because I
That's
love
right.
it."
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you have to love it, man, because if you don't, number 1, it's gonna show, when you're talking to someone or if you're talking about, whatever subject you're talking about. And number 2, like, it's tough to do this, man. So
Oh, it
anybody
is.
that hosts, any type of stream or anyone that's doing videos like we do videos or whatever, they have my utmost respect because it is so challenging to put yourself out there, put yourself in front of a camera
Mhm.
and you do what you do and you're trying to connect with an audience that at first they don't know you, they don't care about you, they don't, they don't owe you anything,
Yeah.
right? And to do that, to put yourself out there and take that risk, take that chance and be ready to fail. Like you said, there's a lot of people that start up and they have a rough go at it and they just say, "Hey, I'm done with it." I mean, hell man, I used to go through the same thing, man, when we first started doing live streams and stuff like that. We didn't have any following or anything. Why would we?
Yeah.
But you just keep doing it if you love it. And we just myself and also with my co-host, we just love talking about movies, man. Me and my brother grew up talking about movies all the time. It's just absolutely crazy.
"Hey, what's up? This is my design. How are you doing today?"
What's
Uh,
up,
I'm
man?
I'm here with, Knight, and, we're having a great interview. He's doing
Yeah,
really
my
good.
boy. That's my boy.
"Hey, Ganja Ninja JK. How are you doing today?"
Some of my people, man. That's cool. You guys coming in. That's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I mean, it is a grind,
Yeah.
and a lot of people that don't do it don't understand that.
Right.
They
Mhm.
go like, "Well, you have no following. Why are you doing it?" And it's like, "Because it's part of the grind."
Mhm.
You don't make that big money at a normal job unless you do the grind.
That's right.
And I think a lot of people, that are coming into podcasting that automatically think, hey, you know, I'm going to hit it big and all that. It's a crapshoot at best. Same thing
It
with
is.
YouTube. You got to
Yep.
have that niche thing.
Mm-hmm.
And
True.
I mean, with me, same thing with you. I love horror movies. It was kind of hard to find my niche because it's like I love sports and all that. Being a
Mm-hmm.
Minnesota Vikings fan, it's kind of hard to come up with new topics with them, but
Right.
it just it was one of those things that, you know, um it it was one of those things that you got to love what you're doing.
Yeah. It's true. It's true. And
And I did subscribe to you, by the way, and can't wait to watch more of your content. I was watching one of them, but it was like midnight, so my wife kind of nudges me and she's like, "Hey, you forgot the TV on." I'm like, "Oh, sorry."
yeah, man. Yeah, no, we have a blast, man, and definitely if you get a chance to come into our streams or I also upload videos. It's definitely a really cool community, man. There's
Yeah.
some really good people, some really great horror fans, some really cool YouTubers,
Mhm.
and they'll welcome you with open arms. Like I said, like right now with Ginger Ninja, I've known him for a while. This is my design. I've known him for a while. Been on streams with them, and they're cool people, man. So if you come into our streams and come into the community, they're gonna welcome you with open arms, as they should, and that's the way
Oh,
it
definitely.
that's the way it should always be.
Mhm. And this is my design to answer your question. I do have a horror channel. I do kind of do a little mixture of horror action, depends on the day. Um, but yeah, that's pretty much bare bones. Oh, we got another one. Hey Kyle, how are you doing today?
Hey, what's up, Kyle? What's going on, man?
It's a big community. I mean,
It
people don't
is.
understand how dedicated we are to a horror community. I mean, we've forgiven Jamie Lee Curtis for all the time she's screwed over Halloween and
Right.
shit on the fans, but we still love her deep down
That's
inside.
right. That's
Love your
right.
Michael Myers mask, by the way.
Oh, thanks, man. Yeah, I had to get one of them,
Yep.
and I'm not gonna lie, we took the young ones out to go trick or treating, and I had to put the mask on, and I had the coveralls. Man, I was scaring the crap out of these little kids. It was so much
Oh,
fun.
that's
Oh my
badass,
god,
dude. I
it
don't know
was
if you
fun.
can see it, but I got something for you.
Okay. Oh,
My
I, l-
buddy
I
Mark
love it.
Benset got this for me at one of the cons I went to, and he
Yeah,
actually got it signed by the first ever Jason, the boy
nice.
Jason.
Oh, cool, man. Wow, that's awesome, man. I love
Then I
I
got a
love Friday
Halloween 2
13th.
mask in the closet, which I'll go grab that one too.
Nice.
Make my office look a little bit better. Hold on. Yeah, and then I got this bad boy.
Oh, I like that. Oh, that's nice, man. I love it. I love it,
God, to
man.
think this used to scare the shit out of me as a kid.
Same here, man. Same here. Like
It's
it
that
used to scare the crap
face.
out of me.
It's the
Y-
face. You
Yep.
know, that blank, emotionless face.
That's right, man. That is right. Michael is he's one of my favorite horror icons, man. His mythology, just everything about him is just it's just always been so interesting to me.
Yeah.
And even with the movies that weren't always at their best,
Hmm.
just the thought of Michael, was always something that, it just made me happy as a horror fan.
Oh, there's Thorn. Hey,
What's
Thorn.
up, Thorn?
Yeah, you gotta love Michael. I mean, some people, you know, they can say that it started with Leatherface or it started with Black Christmas, but in reality,
Mm-hmm.
horror didn't reach its zenith until 1978 when a little movie called Halloween
That's right.
came about. Granted, I'm not a big fan of what they did in Halloween 2 with the whole brother sister bullshit, but you know, hey,
Mm-hmm.
it is what it is, and it's still a great movie.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Yeah,
I
I mean,
mean,
it had good moments for sure.
and Donald Pleasance as Dr. Loomis. I don't think Christopher Lee, great actor, but I don't think he could have pulled it off as best as Donald Pleasance.
Agreed, man. Agreed. Um, hey, Denisha. Denisha's in here. One of my
Hey,
channel
Denisha.
members. Right. Good to see you. Donald Pleasance was just absolutely fantastic
Yep.
in that character. I mean, he was a fantastic actor, anyways. But I love that character so much. One of my favorite horror characters ever. I mean, I just love Loomis, and yeah, man. The movies that he's in always have that extra little bit of charm. Just seeing him pop up on the screen, he's literally Van Helsing,
Oh,
and
definitely.
and it's just amazing seeing him in his journey trying to battle Michael.
I hate it. I always have to hit the show the comments on my end because they won't show up unless I do it.
Right, right, right. Hey, Val,
Hey
one
Val, happy
couple of
Friday.
my people jumping in. Good to see you guys. I'm glad you guys are supporting Steven. That's awesome.
Hey, thank you. I mean, there's so many people that you can ask. Granted, Peter Anthony, I've had him on my show.
Nice.
He is very, very nice guy. I don't know if you've seen his fan film Roseblood yet.
Yes, yes.
Oh, I
Yep.
love those videos. I loved it.
Yeah,
And
it's
then him
good.
and Jason Brooks for Vengeance 1 and 2.
Yep.
Uh,
Yeah, talented. They're very talented.
I I do have to agree with Mr. Dan in horror. I think Erwin Yablans said it the best that if they would have casted Lee, it would have been
Mm.
another Hammer horror film.
Yeah,
It
yeah,
would have been
yeah,
in the realm of British horror.
yeah, yeah. I think because Christopher Lee was just so that was his signature so much at the time, and I think by bringing someone in like Donald Pleasance, who also was just so great at acting and had charisma and gravitas and just that energy. I think a great decision, obviously, because he was less known. You know what I'm saying? People didn't really know him as well as
Yeah.
Christopher Lee, so it was a great decision.
Well, yeah, and I mean, it goes down as one of the greatest decisions John Carpenter ever made.
Mm,
And of course, he
yeah.
would later use Donald Pleasance in other films that he made. Same thing with Kurt
Yes.
Russell, Jamie Lee.
Yes.
Um,
Great. Agreed, man. Yeah, I love Donald Pleasance and Prince of Darkness, man. I love him in that one. Prince of Darkness to me is underrated because
yeah,
I'm a huge Carpenter fan too. If I haven't already said that, like I
so am I.
absolutely, yeah, man. I'm a huge Carpenter fan, so I love pretty much everything he's done. And Prince of Darkness to me is severely underrated. I absolutely love that movie so much. It's very cerebral. So I know for some people that either is a great thing or it's a not
Yeah.
great thing, but for me, I loved it. I loved it.
Um, well, I mean, on the discussion of Carpenter, I mean, you got to believe that if The Thing would have done as good as what it should have been, we'd
Mm,
probably get more Carpenter films. But
yeah.
as that, he kind of went more independent because the critics were shitting on it, which,
Yep.
critics don't know their ass from the hole in the ground sometimes.
True enough. Yeah.
Um, but the way that he does his movies is just unbelievable. I mean,
Hmm.
Assault on Precinct 13,
Yes.
and it's very, very interesting how he comes up with some of this stuff.
Yeah. I mean, his movies they're just so well crafted. A lot of them are very lean, you know what I'm saying? And simplistic, but they're so good at all the little things.
Yeah.
When you think about Assault on Precinct 13, I mean, that was such a simple story,
Oh,
but
definitely.
the way he shot it and the way that everything was crafted, as a filmmaker, it just drew you in. I remember the first time I saw that movie and I was just like, what? Because I had seen it after I knew who he was, after I had seen Halloween, and I might have
Yeah.
been I don't know, maybe my mid-teens or whatever. But I watched it and I'm like, oh my God, this movie is amazing. You know what I mean?
I showed those movies to my wife, and she
Uh-huh.
she even said, Assault is kind of a slow build up to where the it gets to, but once it gets there, it. And I think the same thing with Halloween in a way.
Oh yeah.
She thought Insidious and all that, The Conjuring were the scariest movies. I'm like, Alyssa, sit down, I'll show you. We watched the whole Halloween collection that night, and then the next day we watched all the Friday the 13th.
Nice,
Still
nice.
haven't got her on Nightmare on Elm Street, but one day.
One day. Yeah, I mean, yeah, when you watch, for me, those three, they're the Trinity. Those are the three
Yeah.
that I grew up on. I was literally watching those movies all the time as a kid. And I absolutely love all three franchises, and
Oh, definitely.
it's just something about them and the favorite movies in each franchise. They just they have a charm to them. They have an old
Yeah.
school feel to them, obviously, because a lot of them are older films, but it's something that I think is missing to a degree in a lot of modern films. You know what I'm saying?
Oh,
Like
definitely.
it's something that we don't see as much in a lot of in some modern films. We get a little bit of it. There is charm, and a lot of times you'll find out that those filmmakers were inspired by Carpenter or the old Friday the 13th movies or the Nightmare movies,
Yeah.
so at least we got that.
Oh, definitely. I mean, there was I don't know if you've read the Taking Shape books yet.
Yes,
I love
yes.
them books.
Bro, I should go grab it. I got it over there. Yes, I love those, man.
I got them from Kendall because my wife's got the Amazon Prime thing,
Yep.
and I was like, I have to read these. And when I read
Yes.
them, I couldn't put them down, knowing how much the Weinsteins had fucked over the franchise.
Yeah.
And we were actually, and I'm sure a lot of the folks listening or watching know this or don't know this, but we were actually supposed to get a Freddy versus Jason movie in the 90s.
Yep.
And we were also supposed to get a Freddy, or not Freddy, but Michael versus Jason movie in the
Hmm.
90s. And
That's right.
Carpenter had even came wanting to come back to direct it, but the Weinsteins wouldn't do it because they didn't know how to make it work. It's
Yep.
like put two of the greatest directors in there, John Carpenter and I can't really say Sean Cunningham's the greatest after,
Joseph
what he,
Zito was good though,
yeah.
from part 4.
I mean, heck, you could have put Tommy McLaughlin for the
Yes.
Friday the 13th side. Had him on the show too. That was a great interview.
Yeah, he's a cool
Um,
dude, man.
oh, I loved it. I would
Mm.
ask him a question and just he would go off. He would talk about it. And it's just like
Hmm.
people were asking me in the comments, like, when Tommy, when are you gonna let him ask you another question? Told the comments, it's like, no, this is good. This is a guy that rebuilt Friday the 13th after 5. I mean,
Yep.
5 could have killed the franchise.
It could have. Yes.
It really could have.
Yep.
Just
Yeah.
like
I
with
mean,
Halloween 3 Season of the Witch.
that's right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's interesting because Friday, Halloween, and Nightmare, they all tried to do some different things
Mm-hmm.
to varying results. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, when I think of, matter of fact, it's funny you say this because on Tuesday we're doing a stream where we've been doing this thing where we're doing like a versus of movies, and just this last Tuesday we did Halloween 4 versus Friday 4, which is really really cool. And this Tuesday we're going to do Friday Part 6, Jason Lives, against Nightmare on Elm Street 3, The Dream Warriors. And it's interesting because both movies came off of a sequel that wasn't well received. And both of these movies really reinvigorated these two franchises.
Oh,
So
definitely.
it's really, really interesting stuff, man. Looking at the history of it. It's funny because I was there watching it as a kid,
Yeah.
and now I get to talk about it and I can look at it from a different perspective as far as looking at the history or the behind the scenes, like you said, books like Taking Shape, stuff like for Friday the 13th, Crystal Lake Memories.
Yep. Got that
I
one too.
love that. For Nightmare on Elm Street, Never Sleep Again. That's a great one that goes through the whole Nightmare franchise for any fan of Nightmare. for any fan of Friday 13th, these are documentaries that you've got to check out, man. And of course, the
Oh,
Taking Shape
definitely.
books, they're awesome for Halloween fans too.
Definitely. And I think it goes to tell you how, I mean, you look at, like you said, you look at these franchises. After Halloween, you had the Renaissance over in Canada with uh, My Bloody Valentine and a couple of other great ones that went under the radar. I mean,
Prom night, all
Prom
those
Night,
band.
yep.
Yep.
I told my buddy Mark on a stream once, I said, you know, why didn't My Bloody Valentine get a franchise or at least
Mm,
another sequel? It was that
right.
good.
Yeah. Yeah. I agree, man. I
I
agree.
mean,
It
and it
was really good.
followed the formula.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And
Hey,
it's
Katie.
just it's so weird how Halloween came back from the third movie.
Mm-hmm.
Now they're gonna have to try and come back. Well, granted, I think they'll, whenever a new Halloween movie comes out, which I hate to tell anyone that thinks the franchise is dead just because they said it ends and they killed Michael. He's gotten
Right.
up from way worse.
Yep, he's coming back, man. And I talk a lot about Halloween, just because I love it so much. I talk a lot of Halloween and Friday, but I keep telling people it's not over, man. It's almost, look, man, I'd bet money Michael's coming back, Halloween's coming back, and they're gonna do it one of a couple different ways. It might be a new timeline. They might, follow one of the sequels. Like one of the things I've been thinking about is them following off from Halloween 4, bring back Danielle Harris now that she's older. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
then create a new angle, a new timeline off
Mhm.
of Halloween 4. Or they could, try to remake it again, but I don't think they'll go that route because,
No.
Rob Zombie already did it.
Yeah.
And so it's difficult,
And
man.
then
Yeah,
Blumhouse.
right.
I wouldn't say they really remade it, but in a way they kind of did.
Yeah, they did. They did.
And it the first two were really good, but ends,
Mhm.
man,
Well, here's the thing.
it was still a great movie in a way,
Yeah,
but it wasn't a great Michael movie.
right, right, right. And I know what they were trying to do, and they were trying to because Kills was Michael's movie. That
Yeah,
was that
definitely.
was that was the most badass Michael of all
Oh fuck
time.
yeah, man.
I loved it. And I think what they were thinking was, okay, well, we already gave you as much Michael as you've ever
Yeah.
had in any single movie. And I think what they were trying to do is kind of be creative, not do the same thing they've been doing, and make Michael more in the background in his essence, the evil of him infecting Corey, and still the town was infected, and still looking for a boogeyman to blame everything on. And it's great on paper, but I think that they just didn't have enough Michael. They just didn't have enough
Well,
Michael in the
exactly.
movie.
And when they did, I mean, they made Michael look like a bitch.
Yes, man.
It
We were
was
just talking about that the other
sad thing
night.
to say, but they did. And granted,
Yeah.
I understand, you know, they wanted him, they took away some of his supernatural shit. Okay,
Hmm.
there's no way in hell that you can say he's not supernatural. Like, yeah, you can say he's not like a zombie or anything, but at the
Right.
same time, in the original series, you could say he got lucky up until part two.
Yes.
When he
Yes.
came back in four, he kind of got lucky in four with getting out of there. Five, they whatever the fuck the director was thinking with five,
I
and then of
know,
course
man.
Curse of Michael that
Yes.
kind of destroyed. It could have destroyed the franchise there too.
It could have, man. I mean, this franchise could have been destroyed a couple times. It could have been destroyed with Halloween 3, Halloween 5, Halloween 6, Resurrection, Rob Zombie's Halloween 2, and now here we are with Halloween Ends. That's why when people get so upset about Halloween Ends, like, that's fine if they didn't like it because, there's some movies that people connect to more than others. But we've been in this situation before as Halloween fans, having a very controversial movie. But I kid you not, man. I like the movie for what it was. I just wish there was more Michael,
Definitely,
but I do think there's a chance that as time goes on, a lot of people that
people will love
totally
it.
I think they'll come around on it to some degree at least, because there are
Yeah.
some people in my comments, they literally think it's the worst movie ever made on the face of the earth. And I'm like, you guys are crazy.
Watch
Because
Resurrection and tell us that.
yeah, I mean, because it's a really well-made movie. The soundtrack is awesome. James Drew Courtney is always amazing. That kill with Nurse Deb was amazing. Corey was a great character, but it was just too focused on him.
Yeah.
That was the only problem. And he should have been introduced earlier. He should have been introduced at least in Kills. And then seeing him go to the dark side would have hit harder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We didn't have enough time to really feel it in a way. But it is what it is. But yeah, this franchise will be back, and I think
It will.
it's quite possible that we're gonna get some other good Halloween movies, because I loved 2018 and I loved
Oh,
Kills.
definitely. I mean,
You know,
2018, how they brought it back
yeah,
to the first one was
yes,
just. And I've been looking at some of these comments, and yeah, Thorn, I couldn't believe they put him in the junkyard grinder crusher and either. But at
I
the same
know,
time, I just can't believe that they had built up that 2018 was going to be the final confrontation
yeah,
of Laurie and Michael, and then she's all in 3 movies, and she gets the almighty kill in
mm-hmm,
kill or ends, and it's just
yeah,
like really, like I would have been happy if they would have kept the alternate ending of the 2018 in where she
yes,
dies, because they gave her such a heroic death.
yeah, yep. I agree, man. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that they could have gone, and I would have been okay with it. You know,
Yeah,
I mean, and to be quite honest, as much as I love Kills, like the way that even the theatrical of 2018, the way that ended, I thought was just it reminded me so much of 78,
yeah,
because here's Michael, he should be dead or should
yeah,
die, and then all of a sudden he's not there, and you're wondering, did he
yeah.
get out of that fire? Just like with 78, Loomis doesn't see his body. It's like, okay, did he just crawl away and he's gonna die from blood loss, or is he still out there? And your mind takes over, and you're wondering, because he's the
Well,
shape,
definitely.
you know.
I mean, I remember me and my wife going to the premiere of the 2018 at midnight,
Hmm.
and it was awesome, man. The first time I
Hmm.
ever did that to any
Yeah.
movie, I wanted to make it special, because a lot of people are like, sometimes if you go to one and for your first time, and it can ruin it. But
Yes.
to me, the only thing is I didn't stay long enough for the credits to hear the breathing. So
Oh.
I looked up, because as soon as I seen it, there was people like, "Oh, did you stay for the credits and all that?" And I'm like,
Hmm.
"No, why? What happened?" And they're like, "He's breathing, man. He's breathing. He's coming back."
Hmm.
It's like, well, no shit. I mean, this guy has taken so much shit,
Right.
and he keeps coming back. I mean, granted, they're good. They pretty much ended the Blumhouse storyline, so now you can
Yeah.
literally go from whatever timeline you want,
Yep. Yeah.
and
And that's what they're gonna do. That's what they're gonna do. I've heard some people say, well, can they do a movie after it, and focus on Allison, because she's driving off to a new
yeah,
town and blah blah blah. And it's like, no, man, they can't follow it now. I mean, I just don't see no way possible that it would work, because you have to have Michael in it.
yeah.
You just have to,
You can't you can't give them the same old story every time.
right.
And
Yep.
Jamie Lee Curtis, you need to stay the fuck away.
Well, she's done, man, and
Yeah,
I really do believe at this time, and I think here's the thing: 2018 kind of was a reintroduction.
yeah,
Kills was Michael's movie, and Ends was Laurie's movie.
yeah,
Ultimately Laurie's. I mean, we did a lot with Corey, but I mean Laurie, as far as getting it done, and just getting that satisfaction of finally killing him and letting her granddaughter go off and live her life. And there are a lot of fans of Laurie Strode as a character, and obviously there's tons of fans that are Michael Myers fans. So either way, you were going to upset some
yeah.
fans with Halloween
Oh,
Ends.
definitely.
You know what I mean? There's some people that love the ending of H2O, but there's also people that hate it because she quote unquote killed Michael
Yeah,
at the end of H2O. You know what I mean? So
yeah. And to go back to what one of the comments said, Michael is not supernatural, but when he puts on that mask, you cannot sit there and tell me he's not. I mean, this guy got shot 6 times, got up and walked away like it was fucking nothing.
Mm-hmm. Well,
Granted, it
that
depends on where they go with the supernatural aspect. Like, yeah,
right,
there's some times where it went too much.
right. That's what I was gonna say. Yep.
Yeah.
Like as much as I love kills, and I really, really do. I mean, he was taking punishment, man. He got shot at least 6 times in kills. He got hit over the head. He got stabbed in the spine, the back of the base of
Yeah.
the neck. Um, the pitchfork in his back. I mean, he was messed up, which is of course why he was all messed up in ends. But
Yeah.
David Gordon Green said that Michael wasn't immortal. He was just capable of very
Yeah.
fantastical things. And I get it, but and as much as I love those scenes, like when he took on the whole town of Haddonfield, I love that scene so much with the music and what James Drew Courtney was able to do. But it's like, well, you can't sit there and say he's just a regular old guy
Yeah.
if he can take all of that. Like at least in 78, yes, he got shot 6 times and that's really pushing the envelope of
Yeah.
what's possible. But that was it, what I mean? But it kills, man. They were literally just jacking him all over the place before he came back and killed
I mean,
everyone.
hell, there was even a woman with in that scene leading up to that, and she has a friggin'
An iron.
iron. Thank you.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, and of course, the way they killed Brackett after
I
he says that everyone's
know.
entitled to one good scare, it's like that makes no sense. He said that to Lori in the first one. No one that's ever not seen the movies is going to be like, why would he say that?
Right.
And
Yeah,
that Evil
definitely.
Dies Tonight, that should have been done after like 2 scenes.
Yeah, man. I think the hospital scene, like I get what they were trying to do.
Yeah,
They were trying to show how good people can become
just
infected by
like
evil.
him.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they literally became the evil that they hated and
yeah,
became vigilantes and so forth. But I think that hospital scene, which I don't know, it went on for whatever 14
yeah,
minutes or whatever it was. It should have been cut down to like maybe 7, cut in half,
yeah.
and then I think people wouldn't have gotten so irritated by it. But at the same time, as someone, and I've watched kills a bunch of times, it is definitely counterbalanced by a lot of kills and a lot of Michael and a lot of great practical effects and gore. So it's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Oh, definitely. And for Witching Entertainment Hideout, I definitely do agree that Lori has been used too much.
Mm,
That being said, I do agree with Knight where if they do pick up any timeline, if it's John's or if it's Jamie's, because you can always say, well, 6 never happened.
right.
I mean, they
Exactly.
did it with the trilogy.
That's right.
And so there's so many ways they can take it. I
Mm-hmm.
just,
Oh yeah.
I hope they don't go the same route that Ends did, where they're like, oh, there's someone that's trying to be like him.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
But at the
Yep.
same time, it does harbinger back to the fact where when you look in Corey's eyes and you see
Mm-hmm.
the same thing that Michael has, it pretty
Mm-hmm.
much says the same thing, that the shape always comes somewhere else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean,
And
and
so
yeah.
who's it going to come into next? I mean, that's one thing about Michael Myers. Michael Myers is just the human
Mm-hmm.
aspect of the shape. But when he
Right.
puts that mask on, it's like he's different. He's a
Mm-hmm.
shape, he's immortal, he can do shit that we couldn't do.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
Yeah.
fuck. He literally sees all these people surrounding him and he only cares about putting his mask back on.
I know, man. That's
Like, how fucking badass is that? He
it was
doesn't
so
care.
cool. I know, man. It had to have been at least 20 of them. I remember we were in the theater
Yep.
and Karen says, gotcha, and the lights come on and
Yeah.
James looks to his side, looks to the other side, and like I said, it's at least 20 people. And
Yeah.
then all of a sudden he's just like,
All right.
and he grabs the mask, and I'm like, oh my God. It was seriously the one thing I think people need to realize. And again, I definitely know that Halloween Ends is flawed. Kills
Yeah.
is flawed too. I think
Yeah.
2018 is the best of the three as far as from A to Z as a
Yeah.
film. But I do love Kills. But I think what people have to remember is that we did have movies like Resurrection. We did have movies like Halloween 5 where you had a horrible
6.
mask. You had that Looney Tunes music with those two cops, the bumbling cops. It's
Yeah.
like we've had some bad moments in Halloween, man.
Oh,
And
definitely.
these three movies, if nothing else at all, gave us a really great Michael Myers with a great
Yeah.
mask. He was so dedicated to the role. Like I interviewed him, and he was just so dedicated to being the shape, and it
James
showed on
Jude.
screen. Yeah, James Jude, man,
Yeah.
you could just tell his commitment to the role. So I'm just glad we got James Jude Courtney, in these three movies.
Well, they would have brought Daniel Harris back, but she was going to have to do a special service for the one of the Weinsteins,
Mm,
and no, she's too good of an actress for what they wanted to do with her character.
right.
Um, and you can read this in Taking Shape. They
Mhm.
literally tell you what they were thinking about doing with Jamie if Daniel Harris comes back. It was
Yeah.
pretty much a throwaway, just like what they did to Rachel in 5.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. That
Yeah.
Rachel thing, I could not believe that Ellie Cornell deserved so much better because she was part of the magic of Halloween
Yep.
4, her and Daniel Harris together.
Yeah.
And for them to kill her off in such a ridiculous way so early in the movie too. Like
Yeah.
at least if maybe she did a heroic sacrifice for Jamie, at least midway, if not two-thirds through the movie or at the end, I probably could have dealt with that better, but she was alone and the kill was
Yeah.
lame and it was like in the first 15 minutes of the movie. It's like, what the hell is going on? It just didn't
Yeah.
make any sense.
Val, I do have to agree with you. The producer's cut of Halloween 6 is one of it. I do have to say this though, for what they were trying to do with the producer's cut, I like it. But
Mm,
at the same time, hinting that Michael and Jamie, had
yeah.
something to produce a child, it's stupid.
Yeah. It's like,
But at the
wow, man.
same time, there is rumors out there that Wynn raped Jamie and had Michael watch
Mm,
just to see what he would do. And it's just like, really? Like,
yeah,
you couldn't
man.
have figured out anything better to do. But granted, by that point, they were stuck to a trilogy route, so they had to come up with something.
Yeah.
And yeah, it really is bad.
Yeah.
Um,
Agreed.
and granted, the thorn symbol, they could have fleshed that out and back and forth.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the cult or they could have literally done a cult aspect in 5 and it probably would have worked better than the Man in Black.
Yeah, I agree. I absolutely agree. I think, see, the thing of it is that they were trying to dig themselves out of a hole.
Yeah.
You know, they
Hmm.
started to, have the whole thing with the boots, the man in black, and of
Yeah.
course in 5, breaking Michael out and all that. And I gotta admit, man, I was all excited to see where it was gonna go.
Hmm.
But then with 6, man, they couldn't figure a way to make the story work. I think they tried to over explain Michael too much. I think anytime
Yeah.
you try to over explain any of these icons, whether it's Freddy, look, if you look at Freddy's Dead, if you look at Jason Goes to Hell, if you look at The Curse of Michael Myers, or even the Rob Zombie movies, there's a huge group of fans that rail against it because you're over explaining.
Yeah.
And when you try to over explain, you usually run into to continuity issues. Like with
Hmm.
Jason Goes to Hell, all of a sudden he's got a sister and he's got a family dagger that's magical, and the Necronomicon is involved. And what the hell is going on? Jason is body hopping. It's like, dog, what, what is
It's
he doing?
it's funny you say that because someone in the comments before said, how could they do that to Michael by what they did to him in Ends? It's like, how could they
Yeah.
do what they did to Jason in the beginning of Jason Goes to Hell?
Right? Like
I
they
mean,
and they
it's
did.
badass how it was set up, but in the
Yes.
long run, it didn't work.
Yes, man. Yes. I remember seeing that movie the first time, and as soon as the SWAT team came in and they started shooting him up
Yeah.
and he exploded, I was like, my jaw dropped. I was like, "What? This is like the first 12 minutes of the movie." And it just man, don't get me going on Jason Goes to Hell. These
Oh.
guys know, a lot of these guys in the comments, they know because I've railed against that movie for a long
Oh,
time.
hey, if you ever want to come back on the show, I'll get you to talk about Jason Goes to Hell. We'll
Hey,
we'll do like a watch
sure.
along of it and just shit on it the whole time.
Okay, man. We'll have to do that. That'll be fun, man.
Yeah.
I mean, it's crazy because it's not all right. So look, it's it's got some good stuff in it, and it's
Mhm.
a fairly good horror movie because it's got good kills, it's got some good practical effects, it's got some good moments. Duke is a great character, but
Yeah.
to me, it's not a good Friday the 13th movie. And see, that's where I draw the line.
Mhm.
One of my best buddies, Eric, he's a YouTuber as well. He loves it. And he's always talking about, the things that he loves about it. And I get it. I get where he's coming from, and we're good friends. But for me, no, 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 no.
I do have to say, and I'll probably get shit for this, but what they were trying to do with Freddy's glove coming out and him
Mhm.
laughing, oh
Yes,
my god.
that was good.
If they could have pulled that trigger and had
Hmm.
Kane Hodder as Jason, granted Robert Englund was gonna be Freddy, of course.
Right. Hmm.
If they could have pulled that off, I think it would have done better than the one we got. But
Oh,
granted,
absolutely. Yeah.
here's the thing, and I don't know if you read any of the novelizations for the trilogy of Halloween,
Yes.
2018 Kills. I love the books better.
Yeah. Yeah, the books were really, really cool. I gotta admit, it's true. It really is. I mean, and I've heard some people say, man, they should have went with fleshing out the story like they did in the book. And yeah, I agree,
Yeah.
man. I do agree with that. These guys. They know, man. Jason Goes to Hell. And it's funny because like on my channel, myself, my brother Killian and Coriander, we all, are huge Friday 13th fans. Like that's our number one franchise. We're huge Halloween fans too, but Friday is
Mhm.
just kind of special. But all three of us, I mean, we just Jason Goes to Hell is just down on that list, man.
Yeah.
We ranked the franchise, and it's always at the bottom, or second to last. And but it's funny because when we talk about it, we have a good time. Because I mean, we're
Mhm.
we're poking fun at it. I can still watch it
Yeah.
and
Oh,
enjoy it
definitely.
for what it is. We at least get Kane for about 13 minutes in the movie, so that so that's
Yeah, and then we
good.
get Kane as a security guard or police SWAT team person calling Jason a pussy.
Yes, yes,
It's just
yes.
like, really? What once I saw that, I just knew the movie was downhill.
Yeah, man. Yeah,
And
they
then, of
couldn't
course,
they
he
couldn't beat
bites
him.
his heart and he becomes Jason. It's just like, "Oh, fuck."
And they were copying off of The Hidden, a sci-fi movie called The Hidden, which was a really good movie, but it
I'll
was
have to check
basically
that
about
out.
an yeah, it's called The Hidden. It's got oh my god, what's his name? Kyle MacLachlan is in it. It's a sci-fi thriller, a little bit of horror in there as well, but it's basically about an alien that comes to Earth and basically is able to body hop. And you've got these
Oh, okay.
two detectives that are on the case to try to figure out how to stop the alien. But of course, when they body hop, just like in Jason Goes to Hell, you don't always know that it's the alien.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because you see the person that they've infiltrated or whatever. So it's a really good, very underrated
So, kinda like,
sci-fi.
Invasion of the Body Snatchers in a way,
Kinda, yeah,
where they
yeah,
create the
kinda.
clone and then that kills off the original.
Yeah, it's kinda like that. Although I
Okay.
don't think it has as much finesse because Invasion of the Body Snatchers is fantastic, especially the 78 one with Donald
Yeah.
Sutherland. I love that movie. Holy crap, man. But um The Hidden, it was directed by Jack Shoulder, who directed Nightmare on Elm Street 2,
Oh,
Freddy's
really?
Revenge. Yeah. Yeah, definitely check it out, man. It's good. It's good. It's a fun time. But it came out before Jason Goes to Hell, and I know Adam Marcus and whoever was writing that script were influenced by the hidden. I'm telling you, no doubt at all about it.
I mean, and that's the thing about horror. There's been some real dud movies, but at the same
Hmm.
time, some of these franchises, you got to realize they run out of ideas.
They
And that's
do.
pretty much what happened after Halloween 4, I mean, hell, me and a few of my buddies, we've talked about, well, what if they just ended it at 1? And then
Mm,
when 2018 came around, they made another movie. But at
mm.
the same time, sequels had never been really done at that point,
That's
at least
right.
not in the horror franchise.
Hmm.
And 2 is really good. I
I
mean,
love to.
if they could have fixed a few things, not given them the reason. I mean,
Yeah,
hell, his reason could have been she escaped.
that's right.
That was the
Yep.
only one that night that was able to get away. And it's just what they did. And of course, John Carpenter has come out and said that he had drank a lot and he didn't want to
Hmm.
do the movie.
Right.
So, I mean, yeah, it sucks. But, once
But
they got away from that,
hmm
and hopefully they can get away from that with the new movie whenever they announce it. Oh man,
hmm
I'm marking my calendar. I already told my wife, I'm like, I don't care if you're pregnant. I love my wife. I don't care if she's pregnant. If that movie comes out and she's giving birth, they might have to hold that baby in there for a little bit because we gotta go see it.
Yeah, you gotta hold it for 90, 100 minutes or whatever they
Yeah.
whatever length of the movie it is. Well, but yeah, Halloween 2, I love it. To me, Halloween 78 and Halloween 2 is a great double feature.
Yeah.
And every year I like to do that as a double feature. And again, it was flawed as well, but I do think it had some great moments. The finale is one of the best in the franchise, man.
Oh,
Like
definitely.
as soon as he stabs that nurse and lifts her up, and Laurie realizes that it's the shape, and that dun dun dun
Yeah.
dun dun, I was like, "What?" I mean, it's still one of my favorite finales in the whole damn franchise. So, I look at it like that. Some of these sequels gave us some great moments, even though, like you said, they could have stopped at
Yeah.
78 and it would have been perfect.
Well, definitely. I mean, and there's Halloween 4.
Yeah,
If that would have been the sequel to the original Halloween, what a great way. I mean,
yeah.
originally, had they gotten Jamie Lee Curtis to come back, it
Hmm.
was gonna be a whole different thing. Jamie was a bit character then.
Hmm.
Rachel was supposed to be the daughter, I do believe, of Laurie, and they're in Chicago or some random shit like that in a
Yeah, it
high
was something
rise.
like that.
I
Yeah.
have to reread that because it was in Talking Shape
Hmm.
or Taking Shape. I
Taking
I always
shape.
get
Yep.
that freaking messed up. But I mean, could you imagine? Which, granted, thank God Jamie Lee didn't come back because I think like everyone else, you're part of that franchise for so long that it really gets to the point of how many more times can I do this? I mean, Sean
Right.
Connery with James Bond,
Right.
how many more
Yep.
times?
It's true. Yeah,
Daniel
it's true.
Craig.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yep. At some point, you gotta tip your hat and take a bow and get out of there.
yeah, I
Yep.
mean, and I want to say the most underrated part of Kills was that flashback scene.
Yes, I love it. I love it, man. I honestly thought it was like some deleted or unused footage at first. The first
Yeah,
2 or 3 seconds, and I was like, "Wait a minute." And I'm thinking to myself, I know 78 backwards and forwards. I don't remember this. And it took me a second or two to figure it out. And I'm like, wow, they recreated this. And the first time I saw Tom Jones Jr. as Loomis, I was like, wait a minute. And it was like that first second or two, and I was like, is
he
this
looked. Yeah,
unused? Is this unused footage of Donald Pleasance? And I was like, oh my God, no, it's not. But it's so good and so well done. It was fantastic, man. That's what gives me.
yeah.
I mean, I have hope anyways, because we always get some good sequels too. But I really hope that when they come back, that they utilize, the respect and the quality that they had, even with things like the recreation scenes,
Yeah.
a good mask, the atmosphere, the
The
tension,
music,
the music. Yeah,
Donna, Donna,
yeah.
and of course Michael just when when the Hawkins says freeze, Michael just turns around quick like and just walks
Yeah.
away. It's
Yeah.
just like how badass could you be?
Yes, yes. I'm telling you, man.
And then of
He
course they had one with Lonnie and all that, and that one
Yeah.
was good too.
That was, man. He's just strolling on down the street,
Yep.
and I'm like, man, Michael's on a different level, man. He's a great horror icon. He really is.
I mean, it and how they did it right away too.
Hmm.
I mean, you was that before the firefighters? It's been so long. Yeah, that had to be before the firefighter scene.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Yep.
And just how Hawkins was like, and I must kill him or something, and then all of a sudden just bam right there
Yep.
to that flashback scene was just you couldn't have done it any better.
Yeah,
And
man. It was so well done.
I'm sure Carpenter was sitting there going like, put it right there.
Hmm. I
If
agree,
you
man.
really want people to not know what's going to happen next, and that's a lot of with these horror movies. We as fans don't want to know what's going to happen next. We don't always
That's right.
want Michael to show up when he's supposed to.
Hmm.
I mean,
Agreed.
hell, in Halloween 2 when Jimmy hits the horn, you
Hmm.
automatically think Michael's going to be there, but it takes
Right.
her crawling and then getting back up, and then all of a sudden, bam, he's there.
Yep. Yep.
And
You
that
gotta
for
you gotta
me,
take your time. That's the
yep.
one thing about especially those older movies. They took their time. They built up the tension and atmosphere. And then when
Well,
stuff
definitely.
just started going on, you were really invested.
Yeah. Um, what is your favorite horror movie of all time?
Oh, bro, that's so that's so tough, man. You know, I love so and I know it's cliche to say it, but I love so many, and I do have a handful that I could easily say is my favorite. There was a time when I would talk about Carpenter's The Thing being my favorite just because of the fact that it had such great tension and atmosphere and a great cast. Um, Halloween 4, I mean Halloween 78 obviously is just to me it's pretty much a perfect movie. And I love it. There's also times that I'll say, "Hey man, I absolutely love The Exorcist,"
Oh yeah.
but I can comfortably say Halloween, but there's definitely some other movies that every once in a while I kind of like, switch back and forth. But Halloween
Mhm.
78, it just gives me everything, man. It really does from A to Z. I'll put it to you this way. I watch it every year, and especially around
Mhm.
Halloween time, and it never gets old.
No.
It never disappoints, and it just takes me back. I feel like I'm being transported to a time when things were scarier. You know what I'm saying? So it's definitely the movie that I enjoy so much and I watch the most out of my favorite movies. So I guess in that sense, it's my favorite.
I mean, definitely. Um, the one thing that I think the series really has been missing is Donald Pleasance.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
and this is no shot at Malcolm McDowell, but
yeah.
I mean, I could see what Zombie was trying to do. He was trying to do a whole new take on the franchise, which in hindsight, it was okay. But
Hmm.
ultimately, I could understand why he was trying to do it because we had everyone in Hollywood thought Michael was dead after Resurrection, even though he opens his eye.
Right. Yep.
And after Resurrection, we thought, well, maybe now that Laurie's dead, he'll go after Steven or he'll go after um, John.
Hmm.
And who knows? Maybe this next Halloween movie, they go back to the Halloween 9 movie that we were supposed to get all along. And that was
Right.
him and John.
Yep.
But
Yeah, man.
it's nuts,
It
how
is.
Halloween, Friday the 13th, a lot of these franchise ones have such good ones in the beginning, and then, of course, they fall off,
Hmm.
but at least they didn't do as bad as what Jaws 4 did.
That's true, man.
That
That's a
movie
good point.
has still not come back from that.
I know, man. That was good. Yeah, Jaws is one of my favorite movies too. But when you look at the descent it made from 1 to 4, it's
Yeah.
unbelievable, man. Like,
Well, the
talk about
sad thing
crash and
is
burn.
they wanted um Roy Scheider to be in all four.
Yeah.
But
Yep.
after 2, he was like, "No, I'm done."
Yeah, and I don't
And that was
blame him.
smart. That was smart.
Oh, yeah.
I
Oh,
mean,
yeah.
3D was okay,
Yeah, it was alright.
but the revenge, like, you're
Nope.
gonna tell me that a shark holds a grudge to that badly where it goes after even goes to the Bahamas to
I
go after
know.
this family, and it's just like, "Oh,
It's
good lord."
it's like, man, talk about suspending disbelief way too much.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, and granted, one thing I will say about the flashback scene with Kills, going back to that, is I don't think they should have had Loomis saying, "Did he kill again?"
Mm,
Of course we know he's gonna kill again.
mhm. Yeah, that's a good point. That's a good point.
And of course you knew it wasn't Donald Pleasance's voice by that point. But I
Right,
mean,
right.
one part of that, it had they taken that away, have Loomis show up, have him say, "Michael, stop," like
Mhm.
he did, and perfect.
Yep,
But I mean,
yep.
it's still a great scene.
It is, man.
How they
I love
got
it.
that actor to look just like it.
Yep. Yep,
And of
and
course,
that wasn't
oh,
even the plan at first. They
no,
just because he was working on the film and they looked at him and they were like, "Man, this guy, he really looks like Donald Pleasance." And then so they used, the prosthetics and the makeup on him, and, that was it, it wasn't any CGI to his face, it was just prosthetics and makeup. And it's like, man, he looks so much like Donald Pleasance. It's absolutely uncanny.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
And of course, they tried to make that the worst kept. That was the worst kept secret of all time. They were seeing
Oh,
this guy at like Comic Cons or whatever, I guess it
yeah.
was, and they were just like, "Look at him. He looks just
Mhm.
like Donald Pleasance." And of
Mhm.
course, they're downplaying it. Blumhouse is like, "Oh no, we're not gonna do
Yeah,
that." And sure enough,
that's right.
but the saddest thing is how people nowadays have to spoil a movie for other people.
I agree, man. Yeah, I hate
Social media has
spoilers.
been a blessing, but also a curse.
I agree. I hate spoilers. I really,
I do
really do.
too. I mean, there's people that go out and they're like, "Well, I didn't want the movie spoiled, but yet I looked for them anyway." It's like, then
Mhm.
why? Why bitch about that, you know? And it gets to that point where I don't know how they would keep another Halloween movie secret. As
Right.
soon as that thing gets announced, like people will go nuts.
Yep. Yep.
And even at the same time, I'll still go see it even after what ends was.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's what happens when you're a fan of the franchise, you're still gonna keep looking for those sequels that you're gonna enjoy. And fortunately, in this franchise, it has had a lot of good sequels and great sequels too. So that's the
Definitely.
hope. Yeah, man.
Freaking my phone keeps blowing up. Everyone that has to. I tell people all the time when I'm recording, I can't look. So then I get a text message. Well, are you mad at me? It's like, no, I'm recording.
Right.
But definitely, this was really fun, man.
Absolutely, man. Yeah, I had a blast. Anytime I can talk about horror movies, it's fun, man. And of course, for these folks that have jumped in, a lot of these folks that are so amazing in the
Definitely,
community. Thank you guys for hanging out too, man. It's just fun.
definitely.
It's like you when you have a passion for something and you can share it with people and get their opinions and have conversations. I mean, it's a win, in
Oh,
my opinion.
definitely.
Yeah, yeah. But
I
this was a lot
mean,
of fun.
you know, podcasting still hasn't reached its zenith yet.
I agree.
And one day, hopefully, I'm still around when it does. But I'm gonna keep doing this, even if it does make good money for me. I'll still
Mhm.
love it. I'll
Yeah,
still do it, and I'll still bring the same amount of energy that I do now. I mean,
yeah,
horror movies will always be around.
absolutely.
Now, if they go woke, that's one thing, and will be kind of shitty. But
Right.
And the same thing is, it's a whole different horror, just like everything has to evolve.
Yep.
I mean, we had Saw, we got Terrifier now.
Mhm.
We will get the next big horror icon. It's just gonna
Yep.
take some time.
I agree.
Jason's gonna be
Absolutely.
coming back before you know it.
Yep.
Hopefully they'll figure out, now that Robert Englund has retired,
Yeah.
um, we're gonna need a new Freddy.
That's
He
right.
says Kevin Bacon. I think I would love Kevin Bacon in that role, but at the same time, go with someone that you can have do it for the long haul.
Right. Agreed. Yeah, because
Definitely.
Kevin Bacon isn't that much younger than Robert Englund.
No. And I mean, when he said Kevin Bacon, I was just like, oh God. And then, of course, you look back at Kevin Bacon when he did Tremors, it's like, oh, why couldn't he have been in the second one?
Mhm. Yep.
But I mean, and granted, now that Fred's gone, I don't think he'll ever come back
Yep.
because he wanted Fred to be with him.
Right. And
And
I understand that.
definitely,
Yeah.
they were really good together.
Yeah, they were.
And so it's just, yeah, horror will always evolve. And we may not like how it evolves, but you know what? It's going to happen no matter if me and Knight say, no, don't do it. It's
That's right.
gonna happen. It's got
That's
to.
right. It does. It really does.
But I'm going to let Knight go. Um,
All right, man.
go check out his stuff at the Nightwatch Zone. I can't call it stuff because it's really good. And as soon as I like looked at your YouTube channel, I was like, oh God, I gotta subscribe. And I hadn't even watched any of your videos by that point yet. So I was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
I'm gonna subscribe anyway because he loves horror.
Thanks, man. I appreciate it. Yeah, I definitely subscribe to you too, man. So like I
Thank you
said,
so much.
yeah, and if you get a chance to pop by on our streams and stuff like that, yeah, man. I mean, it's a good community. It
Yeah,
really, really
definitely.
is.
Definitely.
Yeah.
We're misunderstood and underloved sometimes.
I couldn't have said it any better, man.
You know, we're a small community and no one's going to really understand our love for some of these characters. I mean, it gets to the point where it in a way it is an obsession, but
Mhm.
we don't take it too far. You
Right.
know, there there was people that were actually going to sit out of movie theaters when Kills came out, I think,
Mhm.
because they
Yep.
had heard that Michael kills two characters that were gay.
Mhm.
And it's just like, come on, people. You
And
know,
there was backlash on the firefighters being killed
yeah,
too.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so it's just it is what it is. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show.
Yeah, man. No problem at all. No problem at
Sorry it
all.
ran a little bit longer than what it probably should have, but
No, it was a good conversation, man. I
hey,
enjoyed it.
anytime you want me for a 2 hour, 3 hour stream, I'm down.
All right. Hey, well, look, like I said, man, we'll try to get something going because like
Definitely.
we have a lot of times we have multiple people on the panel and stuff just
Hmm.
talking like this. Yeah, I'll try to figure out something and I got your email and stuff. So yeah, we
Definitely.
got
Yep.
we got a way to communicate.
Oh hell yeah. And I'll watch your stuff. I every time someone's like, well, hit that notification icon, I put it to all. So
Yeah,
now
me
I
too.
will know whenever you do it. And I just gotta say, man, keep doing what you're doing. You're doing a great job.
Hey man, thanks. I appreciate it, man. And
There
same to you,
there ain't
man.
enough of
This
us out there that are doing horror podcasts. I mean, you
it's
got
true.
people that do true crime, which true crime ones are really good.
Yeah, I do like true crime stuff too. Yes.
Have you ever checked out one called the Broken System podcast?
No, no, I haven't heard of that one.
Go check that one out. It got big news because they officially got the person that killed the one that Robert talks about. And it
Wow.
was after think like 7 or 10 years. They had
Wow.
said that the guy had committed suicide, and Robert, and of course, the victim's sister
Mhm.
had put so much heat on, hey, there's more to this story that needs to be told. And finally, DJ finally got his justice.
Nice.
That's the one that got murdered.
Oh,
And
wow.
It's great. It's on Spotify. Granted, he does have a YouTube channel, but it's on Spotify,
Okay.
and
Cool.
it definitely a great checkout. Kyle Flet's Movies and Pop Culture 13. If
Oh
anyone
yeah.
hasn't seen that, go check it out. Talking shit, they're another great one. Um,
Nice.
just it's a great community, um, and hopefully we keep it going because we're the ones that got to keep it going.
Yep.
We
It's true.
the newer generation, yeah, they will come in,
Mm-hmm.
but at the same time, they don't know about the really good times that our franchises have had.
Right. Yep. It's true. It's very, very true.
And so, Knight, thank you so very much, brother.
Yeah, man.
I will talk to you later.
All right, man. I'll catch you later.
See you later, man.
All right. Yep. Bye-bye.
Bye. So that was my interview with Knight Taylor from the Nightwatch Zone. Great, great interview. I love his community. I love my community. Thank you all for coming over, commenting, being a part of the show. Truly 100% appreciate it. I'll keep bringing you all this amazing content. You can listen to me anywhere where you hear podcasts, or you can go on my YouTube channel, hit that subscribe button, hit the notification, like some of my videos, and I'll keep bringing you great, great. Well, I can't say great too many times because then I feel like it would be a letdown if I had a bad episode. But thank you all so much for joining us. I truly love my community and I truly love the horror community. But yeah, if you haven't yet, and it's been so nice to meet all of you. Val, very nice to meet you. Um, Tuesday, well, I'll probably put it on all my socials, which my socials will be in the description. So go check out. Thank you all for everyone that showed up. I love you all. Have a great, safe night, and I will see you all on Tuesday. Also, before I go, please go check out the Talking Shit Show. Mark and Brian do a really good job. Um, go check out Flet's Movies and Pop Culture 13. Go check out Slash and Cast if you haven't. We watched a movie, another great community there. Go check out the Broken System podcast, which is on Spotify. Robert does have a YouTube channel, but the episodes are on Spotify. Great, great storytelling on that one. Um, and yeah, thank you all so very much. Have a great night. Thank you all for who joined. Love you all, and I will see you all next time.